Hi there, you're with JC Party, and I'm giving a bit more of an overview. My last overview was about my tracheostomy surgeries and all that, which you can find in the link there. And then you can go to my Instagram for a better overview, which will be down in the comments. And honestly, like, subscribe, share, support my story. It means so much to me because I'm doing this for so much more than myself. I'm doing this to be the change that I never had and never saw and never felt. Like, there were a lot of dark days, early days, and I decided very early, I'm like, I don't want anyone to feel that way. So I'm doing what I can to make the world a better place. So please help and share my story in any way you can, because it means a lot, not just to me, but to everyone affected by stroke and everyone with brain injury or any kind of, abnormality outside of the box. We've all got to stick together. Today's topic is going to be about my brain surgery. Now, this topic is very involved and it can be complicated, so I will try and put things into layman terms, which I had to actually do for a lot for myself early stages, so I could actually mentally digest all this medical jargon. So when I had my stroke, it was caused by an AVM, which is an arteriovenous malformation. It is something that is formed in your brain from birth, and it has a 4% chance, which is a cumulative, of rupturing. So I had my stroke at the age of 25, and now I didn't know this, but I was actually 100% chance of having a stroke. So I had that stroke. I really digress very quickly, as I'm told. I have post-traumatic amnesia, so I don't quite recall certain things. I just know what I've been told. But anyway, after they did that, so they could not remove the AVM, which was still active, unfortunately. It was like a bomb. Like, once it goes off, it's done exploding. No, this thing can pop as many times as it wants, and one time did enough damage, so they need to remove it. But unfortunately, initially there was so much blood and everything that they couldn't make sense of my brain, so they had to perform a craniotomy where they removed a bit of my skull so they could actually let the blood flow more freely or remove it or whatever. And then they actually had needed to allow time, because they cut through the muscle in my neck. They needed to allow time for that to heal before they performed the next surgery to actually remove the AVM, and they had to wait a year for that. I'm like, now this was quite scary, literally having a ticking time bomb in your head. If you don't know it, you're lucky. I'm like, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. But anyway, so then, cut forward a year later, I go in for my second surgery. So the second surgery was, I was aware of this, and it was a lot more painful, because I remember I had this. After my second surgery, I remember I had this weird brain fluid thing, and it had moved to the front of my face, and then I laid on my face and it moved to this side of my face. It was so gross. I didn't even know. I was like the elephant man. But anyway, and then because of that brain fluid, it was like pushing on something or whatever. But for 2 solid weeks after this, I literally vomited everything I tried to eat, and I was having copious amounts of brain fluid built up in the back of my head. It literally looked like the first Alien movie when the alien breaks out of the stomach, but in my head it was gnarly, bro. It's gross. But anyway, so then I had to be readmitted back into hospital where they had to put what's called a lumbar drain in my spine. So that is just a little, tube and thing that sits in your spine that drains the fluid, because the brain fluid comes from your spine, so they're trying to get it from the source. And then they're also additionally having moments where they would syringe smaller amounts of brain fluid out of the back of my head. It was not very comfortable. But the thing with that is, when they put the lumbar drain in, they had a student doctor doing it. I'm like, now the part that bothered me is no one asked me my consent. That is often disability though. You aren't considered a person, capable of in-depth thoughts, and you aren't gifted things like consent that you can give, because I know your body's ruined, no one cares, whatever. But anyway, the student doctor was putting this lumbar drain in my spine, and then I remember, as it went in, literally my left leg just kicked up, and I just remember thinking to myself, oh no, now I'm paralyzed. And not funny, but that's how I cope, and that was literally my thought. Now, that was not the case, and I'm very fortunate because I wouldn't have been able to make half my recovery if that had happened. But regardless, that doesn't mean that would have been the end of my life. I would have found other means to go on and be strong, because I don't believe that how things are set is how they always have to be. I think if you work hard enough and you think about it, there's always a way around it. And when I was dealing with my brain injury stuff, I always had this child book in my head: can't go under it, can't go around it, but however it goes, that's always what I had. And how I think about forming new neural pathways in the brain, because you have to go around the actual bleed, so that kind of is the premise. But regardless, at the end of all this, that was a 3-year ordeal, and regardless, it was gross, just so you know, because I didn't know this. Brain fluid looks like urine. But I don't know what it tastes like, and I never will. But yeah, no, that kind of concludes the series of my brain surgeries. But unfortunately, there was no shortage of surgeries. Actually, fortunately, really I'm lucky to have been in a position where I could have those surgeries done, because they were life-saving. Thank you, Australia, for looking after me. I owe a debt of gratitude to you, and if you or anyone you know is affected by disability or stroke, please share these videos with them, because it's nice to have something to relate to. It's nice to not feel alone in the world, and you aren't alone in the world, because I might not be right next to you, but I'm with you in mind and spirit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my beautiful story, and please stay tuned, because it gets interesting.